Construction invoice factoring for construction company. Industry, reasons that will make you love this strategy. Call 888-653-0124 today or click the link in the description to learn more. Factoring is a strategy where businesses sell their accounts receivable at a discount. The idea behind this strategy is simple. AR financing allows companies to get cash now instead of waiting until they receive payment from customers. Factoring has become a popular way to finance construction projects because it helps contractors manage cash flow during peak periods. When a contractor sells his invoices to a factoring company, he receives upfront cash rather than waiting for payments from customers. You may wonder why some businesses choose to factor over other options. We'll explore the reasons factoring is better than other financing methods. Is invoice factoring a good idea? Invoicing is a vital part of running a business. It allows you to track expenses and generate reports for tax purposes, among other reasons. However, invoices can be expensive to create, especially if you're doing a lot of work for multiple clients. One way to save money on invoices is to use invoice factoring. With this method, you sell your invoices to a third party instead of creating them yourself. The company then collects payments from customers and pays you back over time. Invoice factoring has many benefits, including helping you manage cash flow, reducing paperwork, and increasing profits. In addition, it helps you avoid paying upfront fees to banks and credit card companies. There are several types of factoring available, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. Some factors require collateral, while others don't. Collateral refers to items that you own that can be used as security against unpaid invoices. These include inventory, equipment, vehicles, and real estate. Some factors charge interest rates, while others don't, so be sure to read the fine print before signing anything. Also, make sure that the factor offers terms that fit your needs. While most factors offer payment terms between 30 and 60 days, some only allow you to collect after 90 days. The construction industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. As more businesses enter the field, demand for services continues to rise. This means that there will always be opportunities for new businesses. However, starting a business in the construction industry can be difficult. There are many regulations and rules that must be followed, and you have to pay taxes on any income earned. While these challenges are daunting, they shouldn't discourage you from entering the industry. Instead, focus on streamlining operations and cut costs. Once you've done that, you'll be able to expand into new markets and grow your business. Invoice factoring requirements. Factoring has become increasingly popular among small businesses in recent years because of its ability to provide immediate cash flow. However, factoring requires certain requirements to be met before a business can qualify for factoring. In particular, the terms of the contract between the buyer and the seller must be clearly defined. In addition, the factoring agreement must include specific language regarding the timing of payments. For example, if the factoring company agrees to pay the invoice within 14 days, then the factoring agreement must state that the factoring company will begin paying the invoice within 14 days. Otherwise, the factoring company could potentially violate federal law by delaying payment. Businesses that sell products or services to other businesses can benefit greatly from factoring. It allows them to receive immediate cash flow and avoid having to wait months for payment. But factoring is not without its risks. Make sure that you understand the requirements of factoring before signing a contract with a factoring company. How factoring companies can free up cash flow. Factoring companies provide cash flow solutions for businesses that are struggling to pay off large invoices. These companies offer short-term financing options that allow businesses to access funds without having to wait until the end of the month. Factoring companies typically work with small business owners who are experiencing financial difficulties. The factoring company buys accounts receivable from these clients at a discount, allowing the business owner to receive immediate cash instead of waiting for payment. Factoring companies can purchase accounts receivable at a discounted price because of the volume of money they lend each day. Because of this, factoring companies can offer attractive rates for small business owners who are facing financial trouble. There are many benefits associated with working with a factoring company. For example, factoring allows business owners to focus on growing their business while still receiving the capital they need to grow. In addition, factoring reduces the amount of stress that business owners experience during difficult economic times. Factoring companies also help business owners avoid bankruptcy by providing quick funding. Businesses that choose to factor their accounts receivable run less risk of going bankrupt because they can always sell their invoices to a factoring company if they ever face financial difficulty. What factors go into building a successful project? There are many factors that go into building a successful project. These include everything from budgeting to hiring the best team members to managing client expectations. In fact, these factors are just as important as the actual construction itself. In order to build a successful project, you must consider every aspect of the job. It's important to understand the needs of each client and work hard to meet those needs. For example, if a client has a large budget, you might have to cut corners in other areas to accommodate them. However, you shouldn't compromise quality on cost. It's also important to manage expectations. Clients often expect projects to be completed within a certain time frame. But sometimes, things happen outside of our control. So, you need to communicate clearly with clients about timelines and deadlines. Finally, it's essential to hire the right team members. The right team members can make or break a project. Make sure that you interview potential employees thoroughly and select the best fit for the position. What types of projects can be financed with an advance payment? An advance payment is money paid up front for work that has yet to be completed. It's common practice for construction projects to receive advances from clients. However, there are certain types of projects that are best suited for receiving these payments. For example, if you're working on a large project, such as a commercial building or a multi-family housing complex, then it might be wise to wait until after the project is complete before requesting an advance payment. In addition, if you're working with a client who has a history of paying late, then you might ask for an advance payment. However, if you're working in a smaller space, such as a residential home renovation or small office remodel, then you may request an advance payment. The key here is to determine whether the project is big enough to warrant an advance payment. If it is, then you should proceed with caution. Otherwise, you could end up losing money. When should you factor your accounts receivable? Call 888-653-0124 today or click the link in the description to learn more.